And we're back, everybody. Welcome to the Good Bit Podcast. We are here for a brand new season as we enter the second half of 2024. The summer is nearly finished and it's a very sad time. We're about to enter August. It is the best month of the year, everybody, because it is your boy's birthday.
Of course.
Maybe we'll do a special birthday episode. I don't know. Last year on my birthday, we did an episode about Oppenheimer. So are we going to, beat that and do a better episode this year?
You already pitched ideas to you for your birthday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What were they?
About, I don't want to ruin it. No, about your
Probably not going to use any of them.
doing I don't know, something like your top 5 or movies that
Movies that made me.
Oh yeah,
'Cause that
shaped your
Netflix
love of
show?
cinema or something. I don't
Yeah.
know, something like that. Dedicate to you, but then I don't know, is that a bit egotistical?
Bit egotistical. It's also. Don't
But
know
you
if
also host a podcast, so
Exactly. Well, I wanted to do an episode all about the good, just the story of the Good Bit and how it came to be, and just the really long form. Let's go into great detail. You could interview me. You know what I mean?
yeah, I take over the podcast. Hell yeah!
You take over for one day and one day only. So maybe
It's
not
happening,
maybe not
guys.
as soon as that. We're also approaching our 150th episode.
What?
Yeah, so we could maybe do something fun for that. But yeah. Exciting times, but it's bad timing because we've just started this brand new season and then we've got other ones that are pre-recorded and that sort of thing, so we'll find something.
No such thing as bad timing.
We could do something special for the 151st episode because we didn't make a point of 150, so
We're going to make. When is 150?
150 will be in 3 podcast time.
Okay, no, we'll do something.
So we'll do something. We'll get Ian and we'll do 3 of us, so that could be a special episode or something.
We'll get call in Ian. Ian, we have
Ian,
to celebrate.
We need you. Can you bring us presents? But welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're here. It is, I'm not sure what season it is, but I'm getting sick of all the different seasons. I'm getting confused and the episode numbers are ditched.
As you say, new era.
Yeah, exactly. Era.
And when I said that earlier on, I was like, era.
How would you say it?
Don't know. Don't ask me. I'll start overthinking it.
Well, that's one of the words of the year.
I know.
Era.
I was there.
Oh,
I know.
When?
I don't even know if I've spoken for that.
I was going to say, what date did you go?
June.
Great.
The 8th of June or
8th
something
of June.
like
We're
that.
not doing an episode. We definitely didn't speak
Well,
about Taylor Swift.
you've probably done an episode, but I probably haven't been on it.
You were on the last episode.
Then we probably didn't speak.
I don't think we talked about it, you know.
No.
We talked about the Fall Guy, and that was the last episode, so thanks for all the lovely feedback as always. So before we go anywhere, by the way, thanks to the Feral Tones for our brand new theme song.
Yes.
Perpetual Thinking
Yes.
Machine. It is available now on Spotify, so definitely check the boys out. They're performing as well at the start of August. I believe it was the 4th of August.
Yes, the 4th.
So check out the socials at the Feral Tones on Instagram for all the details. But Seven Sounds was a fantastic servant of the podcast for years.
I'm
different
going to
versions.
miss it.
I'm going to miss it. Two different versions. The first one that was ever recorded was the first one I used, and then they remastered it when they kind of I don't know, what's the word, they relaunched, I guess, as a band, and re-recorded some stuff, so there was a remastered version, so I used that for a couple of years, and it is the podcast. I changed that a couple of times, I'd used a couple of different songs and stuff. It just didn't feel right, so I was I like the fact it's them, they're 2 of my closest friends. I wanted them to be part of the podcast as well, so we just got another one of their songs, brand new, rebranding again as a new name and stuff, so always like to include them in the show and stuff, so they're going to be the new song here for the Good Bit, so thank you to Leo and Sal.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go off on a tangent because that was a good, nice little segue you made there about Taylor Swift. Tell us about the the Eras tour. Was it one of the biggest experiences of your life?
Yeah, I've been very lucky to go to many concerts and see a lot of live music and different types of live music, and I've been to I was going to say a festival there. It was Transmit, and I was 17, so not really a festival, but kind of festival. So I've seen loads of different kinds of music, and this was by far the most expensive.
Yeah.
But well worth it. And one of the longest kind of shows I've been at, because it was 3 hours.
You know, you hear about these people who are the biggest stars in the world, and they go on tour and stuff, and they perform every night, brother. And they lose their voice and stuff, and they wear themselves out because they do, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half set or whatever every night, and they've shot their voice. This Taylor, my God, she's been doing 3+ hours around the world, You know, I know she's probably not like belting every song and stuff, and she's doing some lip syncing.
No,
and
she
stuff.
lip syncs at times, yeah.
But still, you know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a shift.
Yeah, but and that way, like, I was watching it, and I was watching it. I was there, and like absolutely loving it. I went with my sister, with my twin. We had a ball, dancing away.
Why on earth did you take a ball to a concert?
In case we got bored, I don't know. Yeah, it was so good. And there was at times I was like, is she lip singing this? Because she's dancing like full on routines with every bloody song, and like I was like, wow, it's like a full on show.
She put on a show.
I feel like at one point, maybe it's just the people I was going to see at that age, but like that was the concerts I would see. It'd be like GLS and Little Mix, and it'd be like a full on show and routine, and there's like a theme and a story with like the tour. And then for the time I'd go see like other people, and they just like, I remember going to see The Wanted.
Remember The Wanted?
Yeah. And they just kind of stood and like danced about on stage singing their songs. I thought, this isn't really a show.
Right.
Sorry, here. And then, yeah, I don't know, but going back to see Taylor, watching Taylor Swift and see her like do a full on experience was incredible.
Yeah.
Well worth it. So happy that I got to go. It was like a friend that I'd met up with, or that I'd kind of seen. And we're just chatting away, and she's like, oh, I'm going to Taylor Swift. I was like, oh, no way. She's like, yeah, I've got extra tickets. Do you want them?
I mean, they were like the hottest ticket in town, and no one could get tickets. I couldn't believe you had spare ones.
So part of me felt kind of guilty because like I never signed up for like the ballot for the the code or anything. I didn't try and get tickets. I wasn't stressing out about it. But I like, me and Eve were like, oh, it'd be cool if we could go, because as you say, one of the hottest tickets around. It's such a iconic moment in pop culture and in music, that I think it's like one of those really cool moments. Oh, I was there.
Absolutely. And like, it's hard to find like fame like that and like a celebrity like that and a big deal, like the biggest star in the world literally coming to our wee country, is definitely something. Like, I had total FOMO. I'm not like a big Taylor Swift fan or anything like that. I like a lot of her songs and that, but I had total FOMO because it was like the biggest thing and everybody was going except me.
I said to Chris, I came home and I says, oh, I met such and such, and we're just talking, and she's got Taylor Swift tickets. I says, yeah, I'd love to take them. And his wee face like so excited, and then I says, yeah, so I said to Neve to come with me, and his face just dropped. I felt so bad, but I was like, how do you pick between like your boyfriend or your twin sister? Like, I'm never going to win, okay?
Well, I think that's slightly different because like Neve is a bit of a Swiftie, and it would have been daft not to take her, you know what I mean? It's different. But different if it was like, I got front row seats to WWE.
Yeah,
and I've said to my dad,
imagine.
What?
No.
But
so yeah, amazing experience.
I'm really glad that it was worth it, because obviously it was such a big deal, you know, like there's plenty of people that I know that have been to see concerts that they've wanted to see forever and it not be that good. Like my mum always talks about going to see Rihanna, like she wanted to see Rihanna for years and she always talked about it ever since like the early 2000s. I'd love to see her. And eventually she did a stadium show. She came to Glasgow and she just said it was like the most boring concert she's ever seen. And it's a bit like you build up in your head and you really wanted to deliver. Or she'll go see someone like Marty Perlow or Rod Stewart or something where he's literally just singing his songs and it's great, you know. So don't know, it depends on the act and stuff, but obviously Taylor Swift is that like big performer.
One of the best concerts I went to, it was Texas.
Oh yeah, they would be really
with
good.
My mum.
Yeah.
And oh my god, we had a ball. And
who did you see? Like you said, you went to Texas to see a concert. Like, yeah, the silence there. The silence was so loud. It was
deafening. Wow.
Your brain was processing that. Carry on. Sorry.
See, then you moan at me that I forget what I'm talking about.
You went to see Texas.
Texas. They were great. I don't know. I think my dad was supposed to go and then he couldn't, or he was unwell. So I went with Mum, and one of the best concerts. Just the atmosphere was so good. But Taylor Swift was next level. You
think it's the best concert you've ever been to? Top 3 anyway.
Yeah, up there.
Yeah. I think everyone was saying that, like, just a great experience and stuff.
Yeah.
But one of my friends was saying this, like, a lot of people, like the locals and that sort of thing, maybe older families or whatever, who maybe live near around the stadiums, not just at Murrayfield in Scotland, but anywhere, Wembley or Anfield, or wherever she played in the UK and stuff. I think a lot of people maybe don't understand how big of a deal it is, or how big of a deal she is, because of this, you know, she's a big deal to our generation, but we also live in the social media generation where You know, with celebrities now, it's much different, you know, than it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Whereas with celebrities for us now, we literally feel like we know them because we have a way into their lives. Whereas before, you saw them on TV and you had to wait months till you saw them again, and it was like this aura thing, like it was like a stature thing. So celebrities are different now. You know, so we didn't live through the Beatles. We didn't live through, obviously, the height of Michael Jackson's career. We didn't live through Elvis. Like these, like, larger than life, like, they are so famous. You know what I mean? The most famous people in the world. And Taylor Swift is right up there with them, but it might not, obviously, come across that way to some people. But it was just nice to see the buzz for the biggest act in the world coming to your town, your hometown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never saw anybody like that before.
She's never played in Scotland before.
Really?
Yeah, maybe once. But she'd said at our concert, she was like, either they'd never been or they never came enough when she was touring, because she'd release an album, go on a tour, release an album, go on a tour. But that was the great thing about the Eras tour, was it's like a concert for every era, every album.
You've grown up with those songs and stuff.
Although Speak Now was cut.
Oh.
Because she released
a brand new album
just before starting the European leg of the tour.
That's risky, man.
So it was like, yep, we're just pulling all these songs.
Yeah.
Well,
this is a movie podcast, and a movie that you loved growing up was the Hannah Montana movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every one of the kind of gimmicks of the Taylor Swift concerts was the mystery song. Yeah. I'm talking like as if I've been to one of the gigs. I don't even know how it works, but I'm assuming she just picks random songs that isn't on the song list and just, I feel like singing this tonight or whatever.
It's Taylor Swift, so there's always a message or a meaning. But she said that every mystery song that she picks, she sits and thinks, like, what would the fans want? Like, what kind of songs are they more like listening to, or their favourites? And like, she does try and think about it. And on the way to the concert, I hadn't even thought about the mystery song at all till like a week before or whatever, and I saw a girl doing a cover of Crazier. I was like, oh, I love that song.
And what is Crazier?
The song from Hannah Montana movie.
Okay.
Which Taylor Swift has never sang before live, ever. And then me and Eve were chatting, like, oh, imagine if she sings Crazier. And then we're in the car going to Edinburgh, and I'm like, I think we're eating or something, and we're looking, and I was like, oh, I hope it stays dry, like, just looking at the sky. And I was like, done a wee quick prayer, I was like, please stay dry. And then I went, wait, I was like, please sing Crazier. I was like, please. And that was it.
Which is just so outlandish. Like, why would she sing that song if she's never sang it before?
Never sang it before. I was like, is there a reason? I was looking at what she sang before. Because as well, I'm not like a huge Swiftie. I don't know every single song, right? So I was like, I hope she sings something I at least know. Because there's some songs she was singing, and I was like, oh, I don't know that one.
I know.
I'm going to be standing there being like, oh, yeah. And like, there's somebody like crying, like, oh, my favourite song.
I know, I hate that.
It's just
not
awkward,
the fact
right?
people cry, but when you stand, you feel rude.
Yeah. So, then she comes out with a guitar and she's playing and she sings 2 songs, and I was like, oh, I don't know them. I was like, is it going to be Crazier? Because she kind of mashes like 2 together. She'll sing like one, and then she'll sing like a verse and a chorus of like another song, and then go back to the first song. And she finished in the guitar, and I was like, oh, it's like, we're not getting it. It's like, that's her. She's done. Moved over to the piano, and I was like, oh, maybe, and looked to Eve, and we're like, hopefully. And we're like, no, it's the piano. Like, she won't sing it on the piano. She'll sing it on the guitar. So we're like, talk ourselves out for it. Right, let's just enjoy the rest of what's to come with the mystery song, right? She starts singing whatever song, and then she starts playing different chords. And she says that we get extra credit points if we know this song because it's a really, really old one. So automatically, like, oh,
I'm not gonna know
like,
this
is going to be like an early one. And then she started singing it. And she sang Crazier, and every day, I'm not kidding, every single day since being there, me and Neve look at each other at least once and say, we saw Taylor Swift sing Crazier live.
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's almost like the gods were listening to you and answered your prayers. Because
your sister Rachel said, oh my God, she sang Crazier, you were there. Neve's pal lives beside Moneyfield, so she was like, had her windows open like all 3 nights listening, and she was texting me, she's like, oh my God, she sang Crazier, you guys got Crazier in a way. So yeah, we're just so happy. We felt like elite we're like, yeah,
Right.
we got the best Swift tonight. So.
Can you imagine living next to a stadium like that, but just getting all these concerts?
I'd actually love it. I'd love it.
I know. Maybe a bit annoying on like sports days though. Like if it was like obviously it's next to this rugby stadium and stuff, then it would just be really loud. But if you said like a concert, you didn't.
Yeah, really busy and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, would be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. I'm glad you enjoyed Taylor Swift, and I feel like it was ages ago now. It's been such a long kind of time since we've recorded, so we're able to kind of finally document that. You said it was the most expensive concert you ever paid for. I'll tell you the most expensive show I ever paid for, and that was a wrestling show, and that was for when WWE were in Glasgow. Now, we're not going to talk about this because we may or may not have a full-length episode chatting about that coming in the next couple of weeks. Although, it's out of date, but it doesn't matter. What are the rules? It's my rules. But I took Iona to see WWE Clash at the Castle, which was a premium live event, the first ever WWE pay-per-view in Scotland ever. And I will go into it in a couple of weeks' time. The kind of being, I was going to say crazy, the craziness of that being a whole thing. But that was the most expensive ticket I've ever purchased. And I'm not going to say it was the best. Obviously, you're talking about Taylor Swift being one of the best things you've ever seen. It was probably one of my favourite ones I've ever been to. Not sure if it tops Money in the Bank from last year.
That was good.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
But how did you find that, going to WWE again? You're such a good girlfriend, allowing me to take you to another wrestling show.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I'm going with you, and you love it so much. So like that's, do you know what I mean? I also enjoy it though. Like he did not force me, or drag me by the hair to get me to go. Like I was up for it, and I'd always said like, if they ever come and do like a live event or
like
anything,
a
proper thing in Glasgow and Scotland, I went, we'll go. Like that's what I'd said. I went, we'll go to it because we'd made the effort to go to London, so I'd feel weird being like, we made all the effort to go to London and yet we're not making a fuss about it being in Glasgow, like literally 20 minutes away. Yeah, it was fun. Good atmosphere.
It was a good atmosphere.
That was a busy weekend for Scotland and for
that's right.
Scottish fans.
Yeah, the night before Scotland played in the Euros. Oh God, so much has happened since the last time we've done a thing. Spain are the European champions.
Yep.
Taylor Swift has played in Scotland. We've had WWE in Glasgow. My God. And we've seen some movies. We should probably talk about that.
Yeah.
Another thing we should talk about as well before we move on is our holiday, which is recently back from Greece.
Yeah.
Another reason why we didn't do a podcast for a couple of weeks.
Sorry, guys.
We decided to put ourselves first for once. And we went to Rhodes, or Faliraki mainly, but Rhodes was kind of the main kind of city, I guess. We went to Greece for 10 days and we had a great time.
It was lovely.
Absolute great holiday. Almost don't think it's worth kind of doing the full review and going into like everything we've told our families and stuff like that. But we stayed at the Stamos Hotel in Faliraki and it was really nice. We had a bit of a wee hiccup at first where they gave us a room that wasn't great, in my opinion. I was probably being a snob, I don't know. But I went and asked reception if we could move rooms. They moved those rooms, no bother. We ended up having a great rest of the holiday. We were in a big group of 10 of our friends, all like 5 different couples, so it was a very different type of holiday, but really fun having so many more familiar faces around.
It was lovely.
Always something to do, always someone to talk to. I kind of felt like this in November 2023 when we went away with your family, where it's like, it was great, it was lovely, but like you never feel like you can totally switch off because there's always something to talk to. So there's always something happening around about you, and I kind of feel like that as well this time round. I was always waiting for someone to, throw me in the pool or go and get a drink or something. Yeah.
It was busy, and I think actually all of us, because I was talking to some of the kiddos, we all kind of expected it to be feel a little bit more chaotic and like full on. Yeah. But we all like managed to maybe not switch off, but relax and like really just enjoy it.
We all managed.
And I know that sounds horrible, but like take our time. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think, because I don't know, you guys have been friends for what, over how many years?
2009 we would have met.
Yeah, so that's like this friendship group is like deep roots, right? And there's always a joke, there's always like a game, there's always something going on. Right. Like, and it's so much fun, but sometimes I feel anyway that you're kind of playing catch up with, what is it?
Yeah.
Whereas like,
so up and going,
Yeah, whereas it was nice just being able to just relax and chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then see a new place.
Absolutely.
Never been to Greece before. Did you enjoy it?
Had a great time. Really, really liked it. We definitely we said that we would go back to
Yeah.
Greece. It was really nice. Maybe not at the very start of July though. It was so hot, and I was saying that to everybody. There's no point coming home from Greece and moaning about the heat because it was obviously going to be hot. But we're talking like feels like 40 degrees. You know what I mean? Like, but not even just like the humidity. Like I've been in London before where it's been 40 degrees. It was so hot. But like the intense sun. You know what I mean? 40 degrees, crazy, too hot.
I think, I don't know about you, but I managed a lot better than what I thought I was going to.
I
Like,
agree.
I thought I was going to, like, be like, no, I'm done.
I'm not going
for the
outside.
day.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed, like...
Acclimatise, you think?
Not really, but I enjoyed being like, I am burning hot. But I'm enjoying it because then I get to go jump in a pool.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that was the one thing as well. Like one of the last days we were there, a group of us were going to go and explore another city, go to Lindos, and like we wanted to see it, but it was just so hot. We're like, we're going to stay here next to the pool so we can jump in. You know what I mean? And have a swim just straight after. So, we also went to the City of Rhodes. Absolutely beautiful. Seen some of the kind of old artifacts and the kind of beautiful buildings.
The old town. If you go to Rhodes, you need to go to the old town because it is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we went through one time during the day and it was roasting, so that was the only thing. Like going through, I think we went through kind of like early afternoonish, like lunchtime-ish, and it was roasting, obviously. So if you're going to go through, maybe go through like late afternoon into like early evening, and then we went back through at night time to meet up with everybody for a drink. And it was lovely just being able to walk about, a bit of atmosphere. It was still really busy. It wasn't as if it was dead or anything.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot we went back in at night time, didn't we?
Yeah.
We should talk about that meal we had.
Oh,
that day night we had that
little,
Triolgia
little
restaurant.
Greek treasure.
Yeah, the Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
On the way to the Falaraki Strip. It was called Triolgia. I'm only assuming that's how you pronounce it. It was.
I don't even know. I just was like Greek tavern. I went, we're going there.
It was absolutely outstanding. One of the best meals I've ever had. It was also just what we were both wanting that night.
Yeah.
Just was perfect. Had a steak and you had gyros.
Pork gyros. Yeah.
It was just beautiful, and I left them a lovely review on TripAdvisor.
Yeah, like this, like you know that way. Normally on holiday, you're walking along, and every place you pass, there's somebody trying to get you in. Oh, come look at the menu.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got this, we've got that. Like there wasn't anybody standing about outside this restaurant. It just looked lovely and peaceful, and it was busy
It was
though.
busy, that's
but
a big thing, right?
It wasn't like hectic and like loads of people walking about. And the staff were so lovely, like just welcomed us in. Like you didn't feel rushed or pressured or were in your face or trying to make like a crap tourist joke. Do you know what I mean? They were just so lovely and so happy that you were there and like we're sitting with them. Yeah, it was really, really nice.
Definitely recommend that if anyone's going to Rhodes/Falaraki anytime soon. Speaking of Greece, actually on the way to Greece on the flight, we had one of those huge airplanes, 747, is that what you call it? Maybe that's why I was thinking this the other day. It was a really expensive holiday, right? And it was all inclusive and it was a nice hotel and that sort of thing. But maybe part of the price was like the super plane we had. Because we had one of the big planes with like the 3 rows and the TVs on the back of the screens.
I don't think of that.
Just maybe it was like a...
Well, I mean, we flew with TUI. Normally we fly with Jet2, so I don't know if that's got something to do with it. I don't know if they do like
I know, but
their teeny tiny small budget planes that take you to and from places. Do you know what I mean?
Well, anyway, we went and they had TVs in the back of the seats in front of us, which I've not had in years. I don't know about you, but I feel like it used to be a thing I had when I was younger, but like to play games and stuff on the plane. But like I've not had that in years and years and years. Where there's been a screen on the back of my seat.
No, only in like the only time I've been to America we had that.
Like a long flight.
Yeah, but that was it.
So they had lots of movies, which I thought was really cool. Like loads, actually, like 50, 60 movies to pick from. And sometimes it was like going through them and having too many to pick, you know. There was like a full season of TV. There was 4 episodes of Friends, 4 episodes of The Big Bang Theory. Like just randomly like
loads.
things to watch, but really good selection, actually. And I watched a great movie called The Blind Side, which is from 2009, obviously. So it's not like a brand new film, but it's been on my radar for so long because I think I had like a burned disc of it like years ago when it first came out and never watched it. So it was like in my possession, but like never actually had it. But I thought it was a great film. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really know what I was wanting to watch because I was tired. It'd been a long. We drove to Manchester to fly from there, and I had stuff on my phone I was going to watch. I was going to watch some of Arrested Development that I've got on my phone, and that new shark movie Under Paris, which I've not watched yet. That's what I was going to watch.
A shark movie.
But then I was like, oh my god, there's these screens on the back of the, like, let's take advantage of this,
Yeah.
you know. This weird woman that was sitting next to us was like offering us.
She was not
her earphones.
weird.
She was.
not-
You've changed your tune because you were giving her the eyes as well. You were like going, who is this woman? Why is she talking to us? And why is she enforcing her earphones on us?
Yeah, she just kept chatting and try to give us something. And we're
But
like,
then never done it. She never. Well, she gave us one thing. And just,
Aye,
I don't
the
even know
wee-
what it was.
the wee thing.
The dongle?
Aye, is that what you call it? Like the wee
Yeah.
thing. It's like so you can plug in 2 headphones to the one.
Yeah. That
Which
was nice
was
of her, I
kind
suppose.
of her like chatting away to us, but we're also like trying to say, "Oh no, thank you, we're fine.
Yeah.
No thank you. No, we're okay." And she just kind of kept at it, so we kind of felt bad. Like it was a bit awkward. We're like, "What do we do?"
I was like, I've got stuff on my phone. I'm trying to watch the shark movie. But I ended up paying £3, by the way, £3. I will not be paying for headphones. Turned out I did on the two-way flight to watch The Blind Side, directed by John Lee Hancock, who also did The Founder in 2016, which I watched recently, about McDonald's. It's Michael Keaton, about the founding of McDonald's.
Oh my god!
And it was a good film. Didn't
Completely
think it was
forgot about that.
amazing, but it made me want a McDonald's, so it did its job, I guess. And John Lee Hancock also did Saving Mr. Banks from 2013, which I've actually not seen.
Oh,
Is that a good one?
Saving Mr. Banks. Yeah, it's one I probably need to rewatch. Probably watched it too young, like to actually understand
Well, let's watch it together.
what it was. But no, it's like a lovely film. Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I can remember.
The Blind Side, the story of Michael Orr, a homeless and traumatised boy who became an All-American football player and first-round NFL draft pick with the help of a caring woman and her family. So, what I loved about this film, if anyone's not seen The Blind Side, is about this guy called Big Mike, they call him, but he doesn't like being called Big Mike. He thinks it's like people make fun of him because of his size and his weight and that sort of thing. But it is played by Quentin Aaron, who I've never heard of before, and this is a true story. And he's just this guy that doesn't fit in. He gets bullied. He's kind of homeless, or he's at least been kicked out, or he's been evicted with his family and stuff. And he's getting involved with drugs and gang culture and that sort of thing. And this kind of really wealthy family, led by Sandra Bullock's character, who I've not written down her character's name on this, but Sandra Bullock, who sees him and just feels really bad for him and welcomes him into their family home, and just cares for him and makes him dinner and gives him a place to sleep. And when I watch these films, I'm always like waiting for something to happen. Like there's definitely a catch somewhere, and there just wasn't a catch. Yes, there was a couple of things that, like, you know, that's a shame, and she goes to see his family and his neighbourhood's all rough and that sort of thing. But what I loved about the film was that there was no big twist. You know, he's actually a serial killer, or, you know, she's going to use him for money. And that's kind of what's implied, that like because she sees his talents and she sees his size and his passion and that sort of thing, they're going to use him, you know, to get, you know, for money, and he's going to get famous and that sort of thing. But although that is maybe something that does come up, you know for a fact that they do care for him. And it is that they're being kind of really genuine and wanting him to be in the house. So I just thought that was great. People are throwing shade and accusing them of using them, but like, you know that she's genuine. I just said that. But yeah, the whole situation of his life isn't like the nicest thing in the world, but I just thought it was a brilliant film, and one that I wish I'd seen before. Really, really nice to see a film that's just like a nice story about a family just doing good and being genuine and doing something nice for people. And there was no big like revelation at the end of it, so I really want to have it on DVD now. I wanted to buy it for my collection. It's one of the approved films that I would get next time I see it in a shop.
It's one that I've always seen. I'm like, oh, I need to watch, or not need to watch, but I should watch that.
Yeah.
Like it's always been on my radar, but just never watched it. And then after you've watched it, you've raved about it.
Yeah, just a really, really sweet film. But yeah, so I watched that on the plane. Didn't watch anything on the way home because, I mean, it was a blur. I was half asleep. I was listening to some podcasts. I was in and out of consciousness. It was the middle of the night. Like, it was a really weird flight on the way home. The person behind me was being sick. Really weird flight on the way home.
Yeah, the flight home was horrible. We're never flying at that time again.
No, what the hell?
Well, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I hate to crack your bubble of a lovely family doing a nice thing, but I knew this was a thing. Right now, there's the legal feud happening between Michael, right, the guy that is the football player, and his adoptive parents.
Yes.
Saying that he never got any money from the movie that was made about his life. So it's about his life, because he was tricked into a conservatorship. Is that the right word? Thing that Britney Spears was in.
Right.
By them when he turned 18, and then it meant that anything that they done, he's not in charge of anything like that, like to make his own decisions, even though he's got no medical or like anything wrong. Not wrong with him, that's the wrong word, but anything that would suggest otherwise, that he's not fit for making his own decisions. Yeah, he's been tricked into it. So they're currently, I don't know if they still are, so I'm just trying to find here.
But it's still going on just now.
But it's still going on just now. Yeah.
Well, thanks for ruining that film for me.
Yeah, I know it's not all not all sunshine and rainbows, darling. The real world does exist.
They do obviously explore that, like are you tricking me sort of thing, and he does kind of have a go at her for it and stuff, and then he does, obviously this is in the film, he says something like, no, like I'm not even sure if I want to play football, and then he kind of has his own decision and he does make it himself, and that's the film's telling of the story.
Yeah.
So, well, that's interesting. Well, hopefully that all gets resolved and stuff like that, but thanks for bringing the mood down. What have you watched? Anything recently?
What have I watched?
Yeah.
Recently, I watched, well, on the plane, I've not spoken about this yet, have I?
No.
On the plane, I was like, what do I watch? I was like, I don't want to watch, like, take a movie. Download a movie, because...
Your portable DVD player.
Take a movie. I didn't want to download a movie because just didn't know what to watch. I thought I'll download like a series because that's easy. Plus I want to read my book and whatever. So I downloaded Criminal Minds, obviously, because I had that to catch up on. And then I thought, good opportunity to start something new. So I downloaded The Bear on Disney Plus, which is something that's been recommended to me by one of my really good friends, Holly. Both of us worked in kind of hospitality, kind of food industry, and she's like, you'll just get it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So yeah, put it on and I've not stopped watching it. I absolutely love it. I think it's really different to anything that I've like watched. It's like as a drama, it's really intense, but it's also quite cool and like artsy with like the food. Like it's not just about like the drama in the kitchen. Like yeah, it's lovely. I just love it. It's just cool. So like one word to describe The Bear, it's cool. Just cool.
I really like the first season. I've only seen the first season, and a lot of people, I think I agree with them as well. It's not that it takes a while. Sometimes you watch a TV show, it takes you a while like into it. People say it's just done differently.
Yeah. And I said to you, I was like, you were like, are you enjoying it? I mean, I've got no idea what's happening, but it's like, I'm loving it.
You pay off in the season finale of the first season, and you're like, oh, that's why we kind of, spent all that time learning about these characters in this kitchen and stuff. But it does take a while. Some episodes, you're like, I don't even know why I watched that episode, but I really hope it was worth it. And it ends up being worth it because it kind of comes full circle.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to exploring the next two seasons, because the third one's just out.
One's just out, yeah. Which is also why it kind of came back on my radar, because I was like, a new season's coming out, big hype. It's always like award-winning show, so I'm like, I should watch this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, loved it.
And speaking of the third season just being out, we've been watching Abbott Elementary on Disney Plus as well. That's been our kind of like just throw something on show.
Yeah, kind of comfort.
Yeah.
At night time, having a wee cup of tea.
Yeah. Really enjoying that too.
Yeah.
It's very easy watch.
It is very easy, but like the writing in it is like lovely as well, and how the stories are formed. Like it's not just like funny.
Yeah.
Like there's always something else to it, and it's always just like leaves you with a lovely feeling. Yeah.
But also another one that's really taking its time, and it can do that, you know, to develop the characters and the relationships and that sort of thing. Okay, cool. Well, my turn again. Last night I saw Twisters, 4DX, the brand new film, the remake of the 1996 film, which I didn't even know was a thing, and they remade it now. Directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who also did Minari in 2020, which I loved. Thought it was really good. It was up for the Oscar that year. And he's done one episode of The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 3. And I was like, really? And I clicked on it, and I think there was one episode of that season of The Mandalorian that was so different to everything else in the season. It didn't even have The Mandalorian in the episode. It was just like a totally different thing, and people who have seen it knows what I'm talking about. So he directed that one. So I was like, oh, really interesting. Okay. Cool. So it's a retired tornado chaser and a meteorologist is persuaded to return to Oklahoma to work with a new team and their new technologies. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this one is because we saw it in 4DX and I took my mum and dad, right? So it was the first time my mum and dad have ever been to a 4DX film. And for those who
Bless your wee mum's cotton socks.
And for those that don't know what 4DX is, in case you just don't, it is like, imagine like a simulator at a theme park, but for an entire movie, right? So you go into the simulators, maybe you've been to Universal Studios and there's the Simpsons ride, and it's great,
Oh,
right?
I love the Simpsons
The Simpsons
ride.
ride's so good, it's so interactive. There's the Spider-Man one too, there's the Shrek one, there's all these different ones. There used to be the Back to the Future one, there used to be the Jaws one. That wasn't simulator, but it was interactive. But there's all these different things. But the Simpsons one is the one I think of immediately, right? And it was only on for like 3 minutes or something, but you feel like whoa, that was incredible, but it's really only like really short. Think of a 2-hour movie like that, right? I've seen films in 4DX before that have been good. Frozen 2 stands out, that was a really good one, but it's a nice, calm film. That sometimes the chair moves, when like Elsa's like gliding over the water.
That's because it's Disney, darling.
We also saw Toy Story 4, 4DX, a little bit more extreme, like toys falling off tables and it rattles you, and
Again, Disney Pixar.
and or Woody's chasing the car and you're kind of going along in the chair. So basically, as the film's going on, like depending on what's happening on the screen, your chair moves, or you get like a wee nudge in the back, or
A gust of wind.
it rains. There's a wee thing in your ear, like in case like you get shot or something. It's like a really fun experience, but it never like overdoes your experience. Like you still get to watch the film.
Watch the film, yeah.
That's fine. It's just another thing on the side with the experience. My God, this film. Obviously, it's called Twisters. I don't know what we were thinking, but the whole film is these people running away from tornadoes. Right? Can you imagine being in this 4DX chair that is literally flinging you about? Now, this would mean I would have just obviously would have shrugged it off if it was just me going to see this, but the fact I took my mum. Right, me and my sister, my sister was there too, and she's been to 4DX films with me before too. So we were like, we just saw the Phantom Menace 4DX, and that was crazy because of the pod race and stuff like that. But this one, and I don't know if Rachel agrees. I think Rachel thought the Phantom Menace was more crazy. I think this one was the most mental 4DX experience I've ever had. Terrible one to bring my mum and dad to.
Terrible.
I thought my dad would like it. My dad, he did like it. He thought it was cool.
He's got a bad back.
I know, but he did enjoy it, but he said it took him out of the film because like you were just thinking of being chucked about, and also he was like holding on to my mum's arm for dear life. My poor mum, who has like problems with her heart and like all this sort of stuff as well, she was about to fall out the chair and all this sort of stuff. Honestly, like it was so funny seeing her just howl. And yeah, just try not to fall out. There was a moment, there's like this reporter that's following Glenn Powell's character. He's sitting in the back of the car and he's like, let me get my harness on. And he puts a harness on for this thing, and I was like, that's what my mum needs right now. She needs a seatbelt on this seat. It was mental.
I saw a clip on TikTok of people saying, we're like, come with us to see Twister and 4DX. I was like, oh, that's where, it was like the same night you were going. I was like, that's where Chris is tonight. And I watched that and went, oh my God, your poor mum. I was like, absolutely not. I'm so happy he was not there.
I think we should have just saw this one 2D and then maybe went to 4DX after. I loved it. Like, I thought it was like, I had a great time because it was totally like mad.
So funny.
But maybe not for a first timer doing a 4DX.
It just looked so violent.
It was pretty violent.
I'm like, I'd come out bruised.
There's this TikTok of a guy that Rachel sent me last night, and it's like, as you say, it's just this guy. He's like, "This is me before I go into Twister," and it just cuts to him, and he's like a mess. Like, obviously, it's not real. Like, it's not as if you get dirt chucked on you and stuff. He's like covered in dirt, and he's just not saying anything. It's just the captions like after Twisters. So, as an actual film, I really enjoyed Twisters. I thought it was a lot of fun. Although I know so little about like the weather and meteorology and things like that, I've never seen a film like this before. So at times, and even still now, I was like questioning stuff, and I was like, what are they actually trying to do here? I'm not really quite sure. But the spectacle of the film kind of takes you away from that. It doesn't really matter. It's just a really enjoyable, fun, kind of thriller, adventure, disaster movie. It's been a while since I've seen one like this. I saw a lot of people being like, oh wow, Hollywood remembered how to make fun movies. And all you need to do is have nice wee relationship, good characters, great special effects, has to be said. And that's what I was saying about the whole 4DX experience, like when it was in the middle of the Twister. in the tornado. Like it was like the wind and the rain and stuff, and your seat was really cool. So I really enjoyed that. And Glenn Powell, his character in the film, he's like a kind of YouTuber kind of guy that like live streams all the twisters and the tornadoes and stuff. And he's meant to be unlikable, but I quite liked him. He was very similar to his character in Hitman, that new Netflix film. I quite like him, Glenn Powell. I don't know if it's just I think he's handsome or whatever. I don't know. But he gives me a vibe of like Brad Pitt, and I like Brad Pitt, so I don't know. I like him. And then there was Daisy Edgar Jones, who I previously stated was called Daisy Edgar Jones on the podcast, who again was really good. Last time we chatted about her was Where the Crawdads Sing. I thought she was really good. But I like her. I think she's going to be a big star in the future, I guess, or if she isn't already. So yeah, no, those two were really a nice wee relationship, really good chemistry. Yeah, would really recommend checking it out. It's still in cinemas. I would recommend the 4DX experience because I had a great time. But whether it's for you or not, it'll depend on what you think. But I mean, you can just enjoy it in 2D as well. Yeah, that was Twisters. Just before we wrap up, what have you seen recently as well? It's your turn now. Tell us about one of the films you've seen.
My turn. Well, speaking of Glenn Powell.
Oh yeah, nice. Smooth
You're
segue.
welcome. See, I'm getting good at this.
Yeah.
I watched Anyone But You.
Now what is that on? Amazon?
I got it on Sky.
It was on Sky. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't see it in the cinema. When I could have, but I didn't.
Oh, it was in cinemas. I thought it was a streaming thing.
No, it was released in cinemas. You can rent it or buy it on Prime.
Okay, so
it streams on now. I don't know. But yeah, saw it on Sky, and because it was a rom-com, I think that's why I didn't go see it in cinemas. Because, which is quite strange because I don't really enjoy rom-coms. I just find them too cheesy.
Depends what it is, I guess.
Too cheesy, right? But in saying that, I read a lot of like rom-com novels, so maybe I'm changing.
You're in a bit of a rom-com novel era just now.
Yeah, really enjoying them. So
it's been an interesting concept.
But yeah, so now I'm looking for my bloody notes. Aye, Anyone But You. So yeah, Glenn Powell's in it, Sydney Sweeney's in it, who's like kind of emerged really and kind of started. I don't know, I feel like she's popped up and now I don't stop seeing her.
I didn't even know who she was, and she is becoming a big name.
Yeah.
Everybody's like raving. Everyone like just fancies her as a big thing. I'm seeing.
Gorgeous. Like, oh my god, she's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, and like they're watching them in the movie. So the movie's like fun, right? Obviously rom-com, wasn't too sure how cheesy it was going to be. And I'm not going to lie, at the beginning I was like,
oh dear.
Don't think I can watch this.
Oh God.
I was like, this is too much. And also, I don't know, I think it was just one of the first things that came up and I thought, I'll watch that.
Yeah. You're letting the movie choose you.
Yeah, I know, taking a note out of Rachel's book. But I wasn't really in the mood for a rom-com. Probably more in the mood for like something a bit more real and a bit more gritty. And a bit more, real. Whereas this, I was like, you know, you're watching it, you're like, oh, look at them act as if they're in love.
Oh,
do you know,
wow.
like I felt like I was like, oh, and I was pure cringing at some of the stuff, and I was like, oh, this is what's gonna happen, and oh, she broke her heart, oh. But then it kind of turned round, and I was like, oh, and every time I went to turn it off, something funny would happen.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, that's quite funny actually.
And you're also quite good at like predicting what's going to happen, so you were probably already like preempting, okay, this is what's going to happen, she's going to break his heart, and then they're all going to die in the end.
Well, yeah, but even at that, I wasn't trying to do it with this. Like, I was like, oh, you just know, like, oh, here's that staple line for this moment, and I know I'm so cynical these days. But yeah, as I say, every time I went to be like, oh, can I put it off, something funny happened. And it was like a fleeting moment of like the camera cut to like somebody else in the corner and then went back to like the action that was happening, and it just made me giggle.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a or clever moment. It actually made me laugh out loud. There's one guy who you would love the kind of comedy of him.
Right.
He's like basically Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney, their characters end up going on like this last minute date, like have like the most amazing time. She's like, oh, he's amazing, this is so different, and then it just ends badly, and then they don't see each other for like 2 years, and then Sydney Sweeney's character, B, her sister's getting married to Glenn Powell's character's Ben's like best pal, right? So they end up at this wedding together in Australia, right? And they kind of meet up. So it's quite funny, like what happens, the kind of interactions along the way of them realising, oh, we're going to need to see each other again. And there's so many exes and people. But there's basically this one character who's like with this other girl, and he's just like a pure annoying boyfriend. Like, they're in Australia. He's like an Australian guy. He's like surfing, using all like the dialect of Australia, so you've no idea what he's saying.
Right.
Proper surfer, like big body, like kind of. I think he called him. So he made a joke about him being a Hemsworth.
Oh yes.
I can't remember what it was, like something like bitch Hemsworth or something. It was really, really funny. But there's just moments of him and like eating, like there's one clip and something was happening and the camera just cut to him eating a burger, but he was like probably was like really like eating it. It's just pure stupid.
You said this is like me?
Yeah, like proper. You know the way you do something for a laugh.
Yeah.
And act pure silly.
I try not to make a mess when I eat burgers, but it's hard sometimes.
No, but like you do something stupid, or like take a pure big bite, you like go for it. Like it just kept doing like all your gags that you do. It wound me up, and I was like, "Yep, this is Chris." I was like, "Did Chris give him like some insights here to like this is how to make a Iona laugh?" It was just so funny. And then there was one moment as well where like it kept cutting between two different moments, very different moments of Ben and B trying to like be romantic, and basically they're like, I won't say it, but they're basically trying to be romantic, and it's a bit weird. And then like the rest of them are looking at this like koala in a tree, and they're like, oh, it's like a spiritual moment, and it's so quiet, and like, oh. But then you cut back to them and there's like a huge fucking black widow spider. They're like, oh my god, freaking out. And then it cuts back to like the koala, and in the background you still see like Ben and B like pure fighting over this spider.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like the chaos that's going over there that like they've no idea like what's happening behind it. It was just so
that is
funny.
Yeah, I like that idea.
There was so many moments like that. And then the actual like love part of it, like the romance part of it. Again, cheesy, but well worth it.
But really sweet.
Yeah, it then got to a moment where things kind of got real, you know, because it's that thing, it's like, oh, they're like, will they, won't they get together, won't they get together? And then it just, as it kind of turned, it just went really sweet, which is where I like it. I like that romance. I hate the chase in a movie, because I'm also like, but they're going to get together?
Yeah.
No, that's going to happen. Even when I'm reading, like, sometimes, but then reading is completely different to watching.
Right.
So yeah, it was really good though. I think you should watch it.
Okay,
I think
good.
you'd really like it. I didn't expect it to be that funny.
Okay, cool. So it was more funny then. Nice one. Okay, cool. Well, I knew it was new, so I didn't want to watch it like maybe without you if you were going to watch it, but then like the fact you've already seen it and you liked it will make me want to catch up. So that's really good. Glad you watched that. Thanks for doing some homework and watching something for the podcast even though I asked you. That was good.
I don't know, it was good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm now happy that I watched it, because I saw so much of it like on social media, and everybody should go watch it, and people were like, oh, it's amazing. So yeah, definitely give it a wee watch. That's another like good movie night. You know, we said like The Fall Guy was like a good like blockbuster movie night, kind of chill. That's a good one to like put on, and obviously Unwritten, Natasha Bedingfield, like, oh.
Is that the song of the...
Have you not... The song of the bloody summer, Chris? Come on, where have you been?
The song of the summer is not... Have you not 2003? Have
you not heard, like, on every, like, TikTok, every social media thing, like, have you just not heard Unwritten recently?
Oh, well, I know the song, obviously.
On the radio.
No?
It's been on... Oh, my God.
What, is that from this film?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know how like Murder on the Dance Floor?
Yeah, it was like for Saltburn.
Yeah, so that was the same kind of thing for this one. Although nobody got murdered in a big fancy house.
Spoiler. Cool. All right. We also saw. What else did we see? We also saw A Quiet Place Day 1. Not much really to say about that. We saw that in the cinema. We didn't love it. We thought it was okay.
No, well, you'd seen the first two.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
I haven't seen the first two.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those ones. I was like, oh, that looks cool, but no.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, and then you said, come see this with me. I thought, okay, I'll go see it. I just don't like being scared.
I know, thinking it's like a prequel, so like maybe if you watch that one, it might inspire you to watch the other ones and stuff, and it's good to start at a prequel to kind of see where the story goes. I like the other two, but I didn't like this one anywhere near as much. It wasn't bad, I didn't dislike it or anything like that. I thought Lupita Nyong'o was very good, and Joseph Quinn, of course, as well, is getting a lot of kind of attention as well recently.
Love him.
He was really good too. So I just don't like, I know it's the point, I just don't like the sound of the mad alien things that go about, and like it's meant to be uncomfortable and stuff, but it's really jarring. It just takes me out of it. So I don't love that aspect.
I've obviously not seen the first two, so I've no idea what you're told in them. Probably not much because they can't make a sound.
Yeah.
Right. But I was expecting a bit more info.
No, I agree.
Whereas I feel like it's a bit of a flop with the story. Like, I don't know. Do you feel like you learned anything more? Got any more information?
No, I think because I've seen the other ones though, I didn't need it, but I guess I was expecting it, and yeah, you didn't really they just accept it. This is a thing now, and they've learned that you can't make a lot of sound. So yeah, definitely worth watching the first two though, because they're a lot better films, and it's John Krasinski and Emily Blunt and stuff. It's like a good cast, and Emily Blunt is really good in it. So I would recommend, especially the first one. The first one's really good.
Yeah, I don't know why I've just never watched them. But I don't know, I think this prequel was a bit of a flop.
Yeah, and we're not really horror people, are we? So they're more thrillers, I'd say. They're definitely
I just get like, I'm right and grabbing your arm. I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Give me a go.
Like, I was like, I'm like, something's going to come. Like, something's coming out of that door, and I don't like it, and I know it's coming, and I'm not going to like the fright again, I'm not going to like the sound, and it's going to be like pure scary, and I don't like it.
It was a bit like my mum in Twisters. She was like, I just want to go up the road.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because the whole thing was really twisted. The whole situation's twisted in its own right. All right, well, we're back, everybody.
Hell yeah.
And we have lots of stuff planned.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the socials, as always, at The Good Bit Pod, everywhere, apart from YouTube, annoyingly. But yeah, video versions are on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, all at The Good Bit Pod. At one point we'll start doing cameo videos, and you can pay us to do celebrity birthday wishes and funeral wishes to you and your loved ones that may or may not possibly be deceased.
Bit dark, but alright.
Happy to be back?
Yes, very happy to be back. I'm very excited for this new era.
Yeah,
and what's coming up, and
lots planned. Stay tuned. Here in the Good Bit Podcast. Thanks very much for listening to our return episode right here, right now. We'll see you all in the next one. We'll catch you all down the road. Thank you very much.